Well, I think we should start a meeting. We have a quorum?
We do have a quorum. It looks like Brian and Eric are not here yet.
Brian will come along, I'm sure, won't he, Kathy?
Haven't heard anything from him. I told him we had one. If I get a phone call, I'll answer it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from either.
Well, anyway, let's call the meeting to order. And the first item of business is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, the meeting of April 28th, I believe. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
A second?
I'll second it.
A second by John. All right, now, are there any changes, corrections, additions that we should note for the minutes? Deathly silence.
Yeah.
I thought they looked good.
No one has any suggestions or changes, updates? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes of the meeting, last meeting, stand approved. And so the next item is then, or the most important item, I guess, tonight is to take a look at an application we've received from the Free House Pub. Do we have a representative from those folks here, Daphne? Or are they coming or?
I believe I spoke with the applicant and they weren't able to make it since it was a little bit short notice. I sent the meeting right after I got this application. So I don't think they'll be able to make tonight.
They won't be joining us. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's too bad.
Mhm.
Well, does everybody understand? Have everybody read it? Understand what's the request here? To add a covered top to the patio, and if I read the fine print right, to add some bars outside, right?
Mhm.
One bar, L or U-shaped bar or something like that.
Yeah, I think this will just be kind of like a barricade between, I believe, is that what you're talking about, Jeff? The bar? This part right here?
Anybody have some thoughts?
I was
Yeah,
a little confused.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. Maybe you'll confuse me.
Yeah, I just saw the roof thing. I didn't see anything about they want to put an outside bar out there.
That's what the diagram sort of indicates to me. Bar top, it says in that one right there. If you could zoom in on that
Oh,
one a
right
little bit.
here.
Right there, it says bar
Oh.
top, bar top. I don't know. Is that what that means?
It says proposed covered exterior area. That means like a roof over it.
Right,
Mhm.
but then the little L-shaped or U-shaped area says bar top.
Well, that's where they'll serve the liquor then.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the bar top meant here.
It's a shame they can't join us to explain that a little bit more.
I don't see exactly what the pitch is, the roof is going to be. Is this part of it going to be higher, or because it's a longer slope, or how this is going to attach?
So
Because
what?
Go ahead.
Right, yeah. The applicant told me that they would just be matching this existing covered porch, like that slope. And so it would extend out further north, and then they would just connect it to the building further in.
And
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, that next, well, you're to the picture now, right? So the way I read the
Mhm.
drawing was that roof line there on the left that goes over that door, they just be extending. It's basically right up to the side of the sidewalk, extending that, yep, all the way to that corner, and then back to the building, the same slope that would attach to the building between the windows and come out. So it'd be to the edge of the building and then from that edge of the building to the right, that would remain unchanged, those existing pavers right there.
Mhm.
But it looks like they're gonna put a, yeah, it looks like a bar, huh? Well, I don't know, that's,
So if they do the same roof line and this extends back further, this is going to go up to probably right underneath the windows, right? To keep that same slope. I mean, it's not between, it's going to be,
Yeah, I would
It's-
guess that's probably where it's gonna lie. Keep the same slope as the other porch,
yeah.
Mhm.
run it right along there.
they'll have to raise the sign and then,
I don't understand the bar exactly. Are they going to punch a hole into the, where that window is and
well, they
access
have
the
a door
bar?
there. They have a
There was
door.
a new door.
They have a door, but that door will not be into the bar. It'll be beside the bar. I
It
think
looks
it's
like,
right-
yeah, that bar would be like right around
Right
here.
there. And,
Is there?
would
Yeah, it
that be a
looks-
bar? Would that
on
be a
the-
bar that they could take down in the wintertime and bring it inside type of thing? Or is that going to be a permanent thing? I wonder.
On the
It
drawing,
looks
it looks like they put a door in where that window is. On
Yeah,
the-
I think there's another door there, or there will be.
That's kind of an important detail.
And if they alter the windows, I guess seeing where that connects on the drawing, yeah, actually on the very next page down on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can rotate, yeah. I don't have to tell you, you're smarter than me on computers. I think you rotate it. Yeah. So that does go right up,
That looks like a new door to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more than just the roof that we're looking at right now. That's kind of what I,
Unless that's the edges of the bar, I don't know.
The other thing would be how they were going to join the two parts of the porch together to make it look like it was one structure, not just something that was added on. So the molding that's on the gable part of the building, would that continue then across the house?
Yeah, they said they would use the exact same, materials that went into this covered porch, and they would just extend it all the way out.
When you look back at their plan commission application, the page 1,
Mhm.
you go down there to project description, it says add exterior bar, cover new bar area, new concrete patio. So is the exterior bar on wheels and can be rolled inside in the wintertime, or are we going to look at that forever outside? No explanation there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What you guys could do as a commission is, recommend, to have that as, if that's something that you would not want to be permanent, recommend that that bar area remain either, detached or, able to be like temporarily removed, something like that, to the plan commission, because this will also then have to go to plan commission after you give your recommendation.
It kind of seems like we ought to have somebody from that shop come over and talk to us, or get on the computer and talk with us about this.
I would really prefer to see them use the existing door instead of taking out a window and putting in a different door if we could
Yes.
avoid it.
And also the materials, I mean, I know they write, well, as much as possible. That to me, that's kind of where we were with the Piersdorf house.
Mhm.
I mean, we had a white page, right, with some lines and as much as possible, and what does that mean?
Yeah.
So a completely different color brick, a completely different, well, it's pretty close. they're both roof shingles. One's a different, I mean, they're gonna want it to look nice, I understand that, but I think that's kind of the level. That's just been, I'm not trying to get into the owner, the owner's business too much, but I kind of would want to see a better representation of what.
I did tell, I sent them both the previous Pier Store and the one that you guys approved. I was like, this is what you guys want to see.
Yep.
But this is all that they gave
Yeah,
me.
I personally, I find this sort of casual in terms of what they're proposing to do. I'd like to see something a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more polished.
Well, not only do I find it casual, but I find it a bit disturbing, I guess. It seems like that's the important face of that old landmark is right there facing out on Parmenter. And now we're gonna make quite a bit of change to it and stick a bar. I don't know. I'm not too much in favor of it, quite honestly.
Yeah, the plaque is like right here currently.
I just looked to see where the plaque was to see if it'd be behind the bar, and it's not. But that would kind of be the coup de grace there.
Jeff, when you say a temporary bar that they could take down the winter, part of that makes me a little nervous that if it's temporary, then how would it be built? Would it be built out of,
Well, a temporary bar would be a lot like some of these recreation areas that have, by a swimming pool, and they bring a bar out for the season and it's on rollers. And then when everything is winterized, they can put it into a shed somewhere and so on.
Well,
Is that
another
what we
thing, a thing that I wondered
Right.
about this, where are they being motivated by the pandemic? Is that to increase outdoor? Is it a response to that, the need to increase outdoor drinking rather than inside drinking? And is that maybe a temporary motivator?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of their reasons. I mean, this area has always been, an outdoor patio space. So people have always been able to sit out here and eat and drink.
And they have a
and
large patio in the back as well, too, don't
Mhm.
they?
Yes, they do.
Why don't they make a cover, if they want a covered bar, they could do that in the back where it wouldn't infringe on the historic appearance of the building.
I don't know I don't think they serve food on this side of the building necessarily. Do they, Daphne, or is this mainly for drinking?
I'm
On the
not
other
too
side,
sure
they have
myself.
Yeah, the other side, I know they have wait staff that,
Yeah.
takes drink orders and stuff. And I'm wondering how the interior of the building, if maybe this door would be behind a bar, the new door they want to put in might be access to behind a bar that would be able to get service.
That would go behind the existing bar, Kathy. When
Oh,
you-
would you? Oh, okay. The new
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the new door, right? Because you remember the door, the old door there just to the left. If you go through that door, the existing before it was even a free house, there's a wooden bar, and that's still there. There's a wooden bar right there. So the door behind there, the new door, and I'm pointing at the screen just so you know, so it helps.
Okay.
That new door would open to behind the existing big wooden bar in there. So I could see that door just being open all the time and a bartender coming in and out. Perhaps. You all tracking what I'm saying? If you go in that existing door there just to the left, you'd be
Yes.
walking on your right-hand side would be a long wooden bar on the right-hand side. You'd be walking along the length of the bar. So that door, they're basically extending that indoor bar. It looks like putting a door in there and then extending it out onto the.
John, do you know if that bar attaches to the wall or if there's a break in there where they could get around to use the
I don't go there enough to really tell you that much detail.
This is why it'd be really helpful to have one of the
Yeah,
people here.
right. It would certainly, if they're serving drinks, right, people sitting on that patio, now we're kind of just we're filling out the lack of information with assumptions. But I see where you could walk up to this outside portion of the bar and ring a bell or something, and the bartender could come out and serve you right on almost on the sidewalk.
It seems like a terrible imposition to have to go inside to get your drink and come back out with it, I guess. Are we that eager?
But how they run their business, that's their thing. But yeah, I am concerned about the materials and the look and the impact, a better representation of the impact. That's my viewpoint.
No, I agree with you, John. That bothers me there, the look.
I would also be interested in just knowing how much it might impact like the brick of the building. Like if they ever wanted to remove the bar, kind of what would that look like after they've removed it then with the brick? I assume that the brick would need to be impacted.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would much prefer they use the existing door and keep the window as is.
Yeah.
You know, why couldn't they do if it's a window, have the window so that people could serve through the window. People walk up to that and get their drink or whatever. Wouldn't be much different than going to the bar and move the bar over.
Well, if you're sitting outside and the wait staff is helping you get your drink, they're going to go back and forth inside, aren't they? And with a tray or something, like you do in the indoor restaurant, go to the bar area. It just doesn't seem like it would be necessary to have the bar right there. But they could get another table or two in that spot and have more customers. So what should we tell? What should we tell them?
I think two doors on that side would look out of character.
Yeah.
So, but they could use, if that window is behind the bar and they're looking to serve the outside, they could serve from that window.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing I guess we need someone here.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Can I say something about the research that I've done on this? This is the third porch, I think, that was on that building. I went to look at some of the photographs, and we don't have anything that's really very early. We have a dated photograph from 1920. If you go to the Middleton Historical Society website and click on the street views, and it's about halfway down, there's a picture that shows a stolen electoral campaign sign in the middle of Parmenter Street. And you can get a very clear view of this porch. And it's clear that that porch in 1920 is not the porch that you see now. So that was really the second porch. That was torn down. The original porch was torn down in 1907. And you can get an impression of what the original house porch looked like. It went across the full facade of the building. In 1876, they did a bird's eye map of Middleton. Oh, okay. Right. Street views. Here, okay. This one with the vote for Stalin on it. Can you enlarge that?
Next one down.
Oh, next
The
one.
next one up or the next one down?
Next photo.
Okay, the
Right
one that
there.
says vote. Okay, enlarge
that's-
that. Okay, you can see the porch there.
This one.
Yes, very clearly. And
Oh,
you can see it's different than the porch that's on there now. It's much deeper. I think it extended out further towards the street. And it has very square pillars, unlike the original design. This is very much like what happened to the Rally House at this time. They had to tear the porch off that house and they replaced it with square columns, which would have been more fashionable at the time.
But Carolyn, I do not think you can conclude from that picture that the porch went the full length or width of the
No,
house.
the evidence for the full porch is to look at the bird's eye view of Middleton.
That's the one I'm enlarging for you.
Yes.
But
If you
Yeah.
type into Google bird's eye view of Middleton
Oh,
that's,
on Google?
on Google.
but that's a pen and ink drawing, remember?
No, but they're very accurate. Okay, okay.
Maybe.
This first
No, if
one?
you compare it to these people, there were people that went around the country drawing these things. And if you compare it with the known structures, like the Rally House or whatever, you can see, now if you can enlarge it. Oh,
I don't know if
No,
I
no,
can.
the one that was content. No.
It's going to lose too much resolution.
Okay, can you go back to Google? Where you get your choice. Okay, take the one that says content. Okay. Okay, now you can blow it up and you can blow it up over in the left-hand corner. Okay, keep more. You can go more. Okay.
This
Whoa,
one right here.
Well, there it is. It's on the corner of Parmenter and there. You can see.
Right here.
You can see
here.
definitely it was a porch that extended the full length. And I'm willing to say that that was accurate because when you compare it to other buildings whose appearance we definitely know, like the Hoffman Hotel or the Rally House or
Yeah, but see,
the Weinberg.
The Hoffman
The
Hotel-
detail is remarkably accurate.
Carolyn, the Hoffman Hotel is not correct in this drawing.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. We've got photos of that.
Yeah, well, there's another wing. This is 1876. That wing was built later.
We've got photos of that.
Where's the Rowley House?
It's down here in the lower corner. And you can see it has two porches, has two different
Okay.
porches.
And that looks reasonably accurate, except it's placed way too close to the corner here. So I don't think you can put a whole lot of faith in these old drawings.
I would believe though that that house did have more of a porch on over that second door too.
Mhm.
I would believe that.
Okay, well, so in any case, I don't think that hanging on to the design that's there now is necessarily a historic porch. So I don't put a whole lot of faith in its appearance. I'm more concerned that they might make it look as if there were two separate porches that weren't joined appropriately. I also don't like the idea that they were going to replace the window with a door. I think that you lose the balance of the original design if you do that.
Well, what's appropriate for this commission to do tonight? Ask for somebody to come over first, or shall we?
Yeah, if you guys feel like you can't, make a recommendation at this time, you can defer and then ask for someone to appear at the next meeting to give us more of those details that we need. And
It seems-
hopefully by then they could provide, like materials and like better like elevation drawings as well.
Mhm.
It seems like we can, and if I'm wrong, let me know, but it seems like we can get our behind putting the roof on and having it match the existing porch. I can't get behind cutting out a window and putting another door next to it. I just think that ruins the building. Do other people have more problems with the roof or
Well, I
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
with you. Yeah. Yeah, I
Amy,
agree.
what do you, and Sue, what do you think?
Sounds like putting it off until next month would be a good idea and getting somebody to come.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts, Amy? Amy, any thoughts?
I mean, I think that I agree with what Carolyn said earlier. I agree that I have more issues with the door than I do with the roof, but I still have concerns about the porch
Okay.
overhang, depending
Okay.
on kind of what the materials are. And I would just like some more information about that.
And I'd like to know more about this proposed bar as to what exactly that entails. Permanent or temporary, or in either case, I'd be opposed to it, I think.
Daphne, if you can, if you wouldn't mind, if you went back to the photos and the attachments you sent, had some context photos too. There were some photos in there. It looked like you grouped them all together. But the view of the
yes.
front patio looking back down Parmenter toward Elmwood, that shows the two patios in front.
You're talking about this one?
We're still seeing the Historical Society
Yeah.
Oh,
bird's eye view.
Yeah.
sorry about that. This one here?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that top one. So I guess if you had to be specific, well, what do they want to know? I mean, something like on this photo, even if they could draw a line from the existing porch across the front of the building, that would show us how far up it's going to go, and then be able to talk to the materials and stuff like that. I would find that helpful. Hey, and since we're on this photo, and I already asked you about city employees, this is something every time I go for a walk, it bugs me. See that hedge by the existing porch that sticks out
one?
halfway over the sidewalk and blocks half the sidewalk? Who do I call at the city to ask them to open the sidewalk to pedestrian traffic here? Because
That's the owner, isn't it, that has to take care of that?
yes,
The one-
yes,
Stop.
the owner
Oh,
does, but the
yeah,
owner's not.
you want to know who to complain.
Yes, who to complain to?
Is that Mark Walters?
Now it's Dan Cotter.
Dan Cotter.
Yeah,
Okay,
Cotter.
great.
You're just,
Yeah, it was good. It was really benefit. Now I'll still stay for the rest of the meeting, but yeah, thank you.
Daphne, as long as you don't get on that list, you're good.
Yeah. she's deflecting off. No, thank you. But anyway, I mean, the reason it just caught my eye.
I never
And that-
noticed that before, but boy, that is bad.
every time my wife and I walk down that way to go down to Pheasant Branch, we have to go single file. Well, you have to, because half the sidewalk is blocked by that thing. And it
Huh.
is thick. It's not like just some brush. There are you're not going to walk through that. So anyway, that somehow depicted on maybe one of these photos might be helpful, the roof line. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be quiet now.
All right, so what have we decided? That we're going to ask them to come to refer this to a next meeting? Is that the consensus? We'll ask them for more detail and for them to send a representative or log in with a representative, I guess I should say.
Should we spell out concerns ahead of time, or do you want to have them just come and say what they're going to say?
No, that's
Well,
a
I
good
can-
point, Sue. A good point. Yeah, we could maybe say something about the bar area and what appears to be creation of a new doorway
Yeah.
that concerns us.
Mhm.
What I can do is I can also send them like the minutes that I draft for this meeting over to them along with the recording. So they know exactly, what all of your concerns would be.
I think that would be helpful then, yeah.
And they also plan to extend So I guess under the covered portion right now, that's concrete. They plan to replace the brick under the new cover, looking at the front of their application with concrete also.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
Because it says new concrete patio too,
Yeah.
instead of the brick pavers, huh?
instead of the brick pavers, yeah.
Mhm.
Are the brick pavers important for the historic look?
I'm just pointing it out.
Wow, that's different. Okay.
All right, do we need a motion or are we just going to let Daphne put something together, right?
Well, I think we should have a motion to defer this.
Okay. Can someone make such a motion? Kathy can.
And I'll second it. Or if Kathy doesn't want to make the motion, I'll make it, and then Amy can
Okay.
second it.
John makes the motion, Amy seconds it, and that
I second it.
motion is basically going to be that we'll defer this to the next meeting, asking them to send more info and submit a person who has the answers, or something to that effect. Daphne can word it so that it sounds pretty good, I'm sure.
I will do that.
Everybody in favor of such a motion?
I
I
Aye, all right. All right, I think that wraps up that topic, and there's one more on the agenda, and that is an update on our landmark plaques.
Yes, so I did speak with someone from Alpha Graphics who's reprinting them, and they gave me, this was just sent this week, 2 quotes, drastically different prices. But this first one is what the current signs are. It's the stainless steel. And then the second one is this other material. He says it's like aluminum mixed material. And the person from Alpha Graphics actually said that this second option is a lot cheaper, and they've installed these, they've had signs installed like 10 years ago and they still look basically the same. Whereas with the stainless steel, they've seen that, sometimes they get either like corrupted a little, or they crack, or we've had to replace some other landmark plaques before with the stainless steel. So they recommended this one, but I wanted to bring it to you guys to see if you guys had an opinion on, what material.
Are we getting a price break because of the number that we're ordering? Or is this kind of what?
I think this is just kind of how much it is. Yeah.
I'm just
He
thinking if
didn't
we were,
mention.
yeah. And where do we get the money for this?
So this, I believe, the Tourism Commission has a pot of, I believe, $5,000 to get this done. So both
Okay.
are within the budget. This does give us a little bit more leeway because we do have to get some boulders for some properties, and then installing them and all of that.
Okay. Well, I think if they recommend and they work well, I would go with the lesser cost. I mean, that's a pretty substantial difference. Or do you guys want to see them?
Yeah, I can also ask them for samples of both of these, and provide them at the next meeting. Abby did also have an idea of, if we were to go with the cheaper option, there might be enough money for us to pull together like signage for the East End Historic District, because that's been something that we've talked about before as well. So I don't know if tourism would let us, directly transfer that over, but it is something that I can also discuss with Julie over at tourism to see if it's possible.
What do you think, folks? Should we ask for a sample before we decide?
Or even a picture or a rendering, I mean, just to kind of double check, but if they're saying it lasts, obviously a cheaper option would be great. And maybe if we could convince tourism to let us use the money for those other street signs or something, but
Mhm.
I think it would be nice, even if it's a, basically,
I think you should see it.
yeah. Right, we're only gonna do it once, we hope,
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
If you were able to get a sample of them, could you put them at the city hall? We could, or somewhere where we could just go and handle them, or how would we
Yeah.
do this?
Yeah, I can definitely ask for physical samples and then I can put them in City Hall and let you guys know where they are. And, you guys can
So
go
it's
and check them
a-
out yourself.
And if everybody's comfortable with that, I don't know. Do you know what the turnaround time on having these made would be?
So these, I mean, to print them, it would be pretty fast. They could print them, within like a week or two. The longer time is to install it. And for some of the properties, we need to get the boulders out in the right spot. So that could take, up to like a month and a half, I think. But we hope to have these, installed by probably like August is at the latest.
Okay, all right.
Who will
Thanks.
do the actual installation then? Who will do the actual installation?
Oh,
City employees?
It will be Alpha Graphics. They have the tools to install the signs on
Oh,
all.
they'll do it themselves, huh?
Really?
Oh, okay.
Is this price just for the plaques, or isn't the price for installation, is it also?
They do have this installed. I believe it does
Oh, wow.
include that cost. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps that, a lot of the plaques, they already have the drilled places and everything. So
Cool.
they just have to go in and screw in the plaque.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we'll move ahead then and hope we get a couple samples and have them on display. You can let us know when that happens and
Okay.
then we can
Yeah,
Take
I
our-
will do that.
take a peek whenever we get a chance.
Before we adjourn, a couple ideas for future agenda items. We should do
Mhm.
election of the office or the
Yes.
chair at the next meeting.
Mhm.
Also, I was wondering about what are the steps, like if we're going to landmark the pillars, how would we go about doing that? Could we talk about that at the next meeting too?
Yeah. So Amy actually, after the last meeting, she sent me some documents on like forms that we could create for, if people wanted to submit landmarks. And then, if they wanted to go through this process, we could start with
Oh.
that form and then, we would bring it to Landmarks Commission and then discuss it through that process.
Okay,
So yeah, we can definitely do that at the next meeting too.
When you look at chapter 18, there's very little information in there.
Yeah.
City Ordinance, chapter 18, about how we actually go about designating and so on, and forms to fill out. I don't find anything, in fact, and it would be nice if we would have some language there and maybe a form that we design or something. I don't know.
just put Daphne's phone number. That's all.
Something that I'm delinquent on, I didn't have time since our last meeting, but Amy and Eric both sent me some list of other examples of potential incentives and type thing. I think we should start. And what I'd like to do, this is the install. What I'd like to do is have maybe a one-page cheat sheet that we could give to a residential owner or a commercial business owner
Yeah.
that is considering making their building a landmark, and that we can show, hey, these are the benefits that you can have. Now, if the city of Middleton wanted to go one beyond and add something on there, that's great. But at a minimum, have this, I think, because trying to look all this stuff up, and I mean, there's a lot of different things. A lot of items have to be a national landmark or a state landmark, or in order to get it. But anyway, have those cheat sheets, and not only would it help people that want to apply, but if we want to approach some owners about registering their home or business building
Yeah.
as a landmark. I think
Yeah,
it would help. So that's my end state goal with that.
yeah.
I've been a little busy with work. I apologize. I'm totally lame. I just want to give good, because Amy sent me a bunch of stuff too, and I'm sorry, Amy,
That's all right. I know.
but I'll nominate you to be the chair next meeting if that'll make it up to you.
No, I think that's a great idea to have something like that, a sheet. You call it a cheat sheet or just an information sheet that we can say, this is what would be in
Yeah.
store for you. And are you interested? We leave that with them.
Yeah. A quick reference guide that might counter all these restrictions that are now going to be on my property. If I know I can get 10,000, if I know I can get matching, I can apply to get matching funds from the state to replace my roof, which is one of them. Exterior stuff, the state will pay up to half. Once you pass a minimum amount, they'll pay half. If you get approval, then you pay half. I mean, something like that, I think would mean a lot to a building owner. I don't know what you think, Kat. You own probably more buildings than any of us, Kathy. But
If that number's one.
that's it. Well, to match you, I have to count my shed out back. So
I don't even have a shed, so you win.
we're even.
Too funny, John.
So that's the point. Is a quick reference guide better than a cheat sheet? A quick reference guide.
Quick reference guide, yeah, I like that better. Yeah. It sounds more legal. Okay, any other thoughts before we adjourn? Hearing none, I declare the meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye, Dabney.